Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the special meeting of council. And I'm going to call this meeting to order at 10 a.m. Adoption of the agenda, please.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopts the special meeting agenda for January 24th, 2024 as presented.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham. Seconder. Councillor Novakis. All in favour? It's carried. That West Elgin County. Oh, okay. Disclosure of any pecuniary interest. If no disclosures now, at the time. And we go straight to 4, which is Port Glasgow Marina Pier discussion. And I'm going to open this right up to the floor. And hopefully people can put their views forward. Because this is also coming up tomorrow too. Is there anybody that wants to take the lead? Councillor Backus,
So
please.
just clarifying that this is a discussion to decide if about the $250,000 we've been asked to move. Is that what we're discussing? The peer improvement funding?
Yeah, there's 200,000 in it as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. So I asked Terry to print off through the chair, just the yacht club agreement that we have. In theory, not in theory or principle. I think going through this agreement, one, we need to look at a new agreement with the yacht club, or we need to reassess what this agreement is doing. In it, we have a board of management, apparently, that was supposed to be established, and it includes their members and council. And my theory is that this was established because we own part of the land and part of the yacht club is operating financially on that land. And so it's just how we are supposed to be agreeing. We are supposed to have an annual general meeting every Tuesday, the last Tuesday of every January. This board is supposed to be preparing the operating budget for the yacht club. I don't believe we are right now. And I haven't been invited to any meetings. So part of me thinks that this document and this board is outdated, that perhaps this isn't what's necessary. The yacht club seems very fine with organizing and running their business. Because of that, we need a new agreement. I think the fish cleaning station was a perfect example that not having an agreement created confusion and animosity amongst the two groups. So for me, financially, we need to really look at how we're doing this. I would be looking for an economic impact study done before I'm willing to give any more money to the yacht club. I understand how important this is and how important wave breakage is, but we had a discussion last week about how we weren't even sure we financially could afford a treasurer. We can't afford some of our rec programming, and we are looking at $250,000, and we have an outdated agreement, and we have no study that shows the impact. Yacht Club, from what I understand from this, is a private organization. I'm hard pressed to see how they're any different from any of the other private organizations that have come to us asking for money. But we're stopping that granting of money at $30,000 for almost 20 organizations. I need to be able to look voters in the eye and explain why we are taking reserved money out and paying half of a pier on private land that could be sold.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak on this? Okay, Councillor Denny.
Thank you, through the chair. So Councillor Navakis and Mayor Leatham, at this point, you are our representatives for the Yacht Club Committee. So this agreement is 1994. And there are certain aspects that you've pointed out, Councillor Navakis, that seem outdated. I think that it is probably very timely for us to sit down with our peers from the Yacht Club Committee and look at a new agreement so that moving forward, there is more clarity for dollars spent and guidelines, policy on how we get to where we are from putting money into reserves for intended projects versus, and as well as when we have community groups such as the Yacht Club come to us looking for money. If we have, if we look at this agreement and we're able to bring this up to 2024, I think that we're serving our community very, very well by taking the time to do, this is 30 years old. So I think any other policy that we have within the municipality is well more updated than 30 years. So my feeling would be, I would be very comfortable doing that first. And then looking at the next step of how to move funding forward into any projects, as the marina just be one of them.
And through the chair, I think my main concern is 16.1 and 16.2. It's that as organizations age and we all are facing financial implications, we are investing in money in something that could be sold, and that nowhere does we're first right of refusal. But if they get an offer to buy the marina, it's not that we get money back, right? It's not that the organization that buys the yacht club could run it completely different than it's being run and not in a partnership, right? There's nothing that gives us any. So to fix that for the community would be beneficial. If they were to sell right now, I don't believe we have the money to buy. I don't think they're intending to sell. It's just, we have no protections in this agreement for the money we continue to put down there. And I would like an economic impact study, so that when our constituents come and say, why was this money given? We can say, because this is the amount of tourism and dollars this organization is bringing to this community. If the rec committee for our little things are wanting to count the number of people coming into the rec so that we can show the value of rec, we should have to do that for everything.
Okay, thank you. Brian, have you got anything?
Through the chair, I agree with the idea of having an economic impact assessment. I think that's really important to see. Well, in my view, we're not 100% certain who is actually utilizing the yacht club. I know that fishing is a big component of their business. I also realize that fishing on Lake Erie depends on the season and what time of year it is. So, you know, there's people that are coming in from far-flung places, you know, from London, all over the place, really. So I would like to have an idea as well on how that reflects on the income that we're generating for the municipality and for our residents and businesses here. I think that's an important step for sure. And I definitely agree that this agreement needs to be rewritten before we make any large decisions. Thank you.
Well, you got anything to say, Deputy Mayor, please?
Yeah. Through the chair, thank you for coming today and bringing this to us. So well, we already had it, but so yeah, I still had acne when this was probably made, and it's old and we know that, and we just, you know, time's gone by and it's just been working well, great relationship, and we just need to update it and get down everything that each other's thinking and work together, as Bill said, as a team with our peers. Does anyone around the table have an idea what the impact statement would look like how the funds or what the monies would look like to put that into place? No, something we'd have to look up?
How much would a new agreement?
New agreement cost?
Through the chair, so this issue, this agreement was brought to staff's attention back in November, beginning of November.
Mhm.
on November 2nd. So we already started working towards the revision of the agreement, but with the change in council, it was near previous council's term, we decided to hold off on the agreement until new council is elected. So again, council requested that staff revisits the issue. On November 2nd, I emailed our solicitor who was involved initially with that agreement. Unfortunately, I haven't heard from her until coincidentally yesterday, I received an email from her with number of questions that relate to, preparing new agreement with the yacht club. So there is a lot of questions that she listed. This isn't something that can be done overnight. It requires of doing a lot of research, historical research. The agreement will be revised. We're gonna have to work with the yacht club as there is information pertaining to the agreement that will require their input. So now that our solicitor's capacity is letting her work on this agreement, we're gonna start probably working on it. We're gonna schedule meeting with the yacht club to discuss, the importance and new items that should be included in that agreement. So we're starting the process fresh. We will get it done. As far as cost, I don't know, associated with revisions of this agreement, but I don't know. It will probably be part of our legal fees, legal account budget
Okay.
in 2024.
And then if we did want to go forward and go with the impact study that you're looking at, does anybody know, have you done that recently or what that pricing looks like as well? Okay.
Through the chair, less than $5,000. A lot of organizations, Tourism London, complete these for most events that they
Mhm.
spend money on. Through the chair, if
Yes,
the yacht club wants to get this moving and we don't want to hold them up. And previous councils have been putting money into this fund for this. I'm asking for impact statements that we can be held accountable to our community when we do this. If, because that money is there, can it be loaned and then we decide the granting amount after so that they can move on with the money that is there?
For the impact study.
No, not for that. If they want to, we want them to move forward with this, right? And we want to help them and be it either granting partial of it. But basically what I'm saying is I want accountability to the constituents as to a large amount of money that we're giving to a private organization. But I don't want to hold them up. So are there ways to continue to move, like, do people understand what I'm saying? Like, we want to be good partners. I'm just saying I want accountability for how we are spending money, especially because I think when this reserve fund was started, we were in a very different economic climate in the municipality that even from 4 years ago to today, if we look at insurance and all of the costs and wages, everything has gone up. Council before, I think, felt quite good putting this money aside. I'm just saying it's different now. Right? So are there ways to help them move forward and then reassess the agreement, or do we have to wait?
Through the chair, so just like Councillor Navakas mentioned, so the reserves for breakwall study was established around 2013. At that time, council decided to every year allocate $50,000 towards breakwall project. In 2018, and I'm speaking based on what I can see in our financials. I didn't have a chance to look up the minutes from 2013 council meetings.
that was correct.
In 2018 was the last year when council allocated $50,000 towards that project. At the end of 2018, the total amount in reserves was at $400,000. In 2022, the yacht club requested to borrow of that money towards their improvement down at the marina. The council provided directions to staff to loan them money in the amount of $165,000. Last year, so the terms were 5 years. Last year, we received payment from the yacht club in the amount of $33,000. So current account balance in that reserve fund is $268,000. And it is at council's discretion. Council can authorize transfer, perhaps lending additional money to the yacht club. Decision is up to you. We can certainly look up the minutes from 2013 council meeting to see, if there were any obligations in terms of how the reserve account was opened, and bring that to council at the next council meeting. Perhaps that would be helpful.
Through the chair, I'm also wondering, I did do some research, like I said earlier, I can only find one instance where a municipality has paid for the pier renovation, and that was in Burlington so far, and it is municipally owned. I would be interested to see if there are other municipalities who have fixed this as well, so that when we are answering questions, we can show examples of the fact that this is common practice, if it is.
So what you're trying to say is the revenue from the boats going in must be going to the council so they can afford to do that.
The municipality of Burlington owns the marina and they rent it out to their yacht club and to their sailing club. But through that, they are generating revenue, and through the revenue that they generated, they paid to, basically, it's very similar. They created a break wall. Now, they created the break wall though also to safer boating, but erosion. And under the current model that we are doing, it is boating, but we're not solving erosion. And so while it seems very strange that I'm going in the opposite direction, it also seems that perhaps then we should be looking at break walls that prevent erosion and allow for safer beaching as well, because then we're not just looking at boats, we're looking at the whole marina and providing assistance, like it's everybody then who would be benefiting from break wall. Because I did look at the impact study that we did, and was it 2013? Was that when there was a study done that I was looking at yesterday that the municipality took, and there were 3 options, and one of them was at that time even $2.6 million. But part of the benefit of that was that it was also helping with erosion on the beach. So I'm just saying a new agreement, actually looking at what we as a municipality are trying to accomplish down at the marina, right?
Yeah, well,
But then, like I said, the yacht club, it's private. They want to make it safer for boating. So right now they need the money. So if they want to look at it before the agreement gets done. And Magda, we could come back to council. So if we say no in tomorrow's budget, it wouldn't be able to come back up until January, or can we midway through move reserves out for a project?
Oh, council can.
So we could have an agreement, move the money out, and it could be done maybe by spring. Okay.
well, I suppose when I look at it, the way that you put it in different ways, I mean, me personally, I've had tunnel vision. All I was looking at was the safety for the public, because I can see that one day we're going to be in, we or they or whoever it might be, according to this document, is going to be a terrible mess down there. So that was, and I know that we'd put reserves in, which I know could help to a certain degree, but I mean, safety has always been my sole thing. absolute safety for the public. And anyway, we've obviously got to talk about this a lot more. Anyone else? Councillor Denny?
Thank you, your worship, and through the chair. I suppose the idea of revisiting this agreement is a good practical idea, but I also know that the Port Glasgow Yacht Club is very, very proud of this agreement, and they worked really, really hard to create this in the first place. So before we go any further, I suppose we should be asking the yacht club, are they willing to enter into a review of this agreement in good faith? Or are we just chasing our tail here? Because they may not feel comfortable editing this at this point. So I think that's a good question that we should be asking them.
Through the chair,
Councillor Bacchus?
we're not currently following this agreement. So like, and I think that's because the yacht club runs well without us, right? This agreement states there's supposed to be a board of management. And they are supposed to set the operating budget and then it gets disseminated, but we are not sitting on their operation budget meeting, and I don't think we need to be, right? They run themselves quite fine. So immediately though, that means that this agreement isn't being followed and it doesn't work. It probably doesn't work for them, right? They don't need necessarily two council members sitting on there telling them how to do their operating budget. And I would argue that the reason why that was done is that they are operating and taking funds from a part of land that we own. So I think this was kind of in good faith that because they have a ramp on municipal land that we would all work together, but we don't need to because they run it pretty efficiently, right? Like I wouldn't want to be telling them how to spend the revenue that they're making. Right?
No.
But I would want to have accountability when we give money.
Anything else? Anyone? Deputy Mayor.
If I can speak, through the chair. So in my view, we approach the yacht club, see if we can redo this, still have talks about it. Look into the study and see how much that would be. Get those numbers back to council. And meantime, just work with our partners and see exactly what they need. And the impact study was 2013 I have down. For the, down at the marina.
I can't comment.
Or
on
I keep
that.
calling it back study, but that's not what it's called, but you know what I'm trying to say.
That's when we started the reserves, I believe.
Oh, I thought that's when the study for the break wall was down there. The environmental study.
Yeah, and well, I do know about the
Excuse me.
break wall, that every time we visited, it was going up and
Yeah.
up and up and up until it just got absolutely out of our reach.
So when's the last time do we know
Through
that
the
we had
chair,
it?
it was 2006 that
Okay.
we did the Port Glasgow Marina Yacht Club entrance feasibility study.
Okay.
Well, and is there any other comments? I think we've been around the room and everybody, and this is going to come up on tomorrow's meeting. So we've all got time to talk about it, think about it, and come up again with something, and maybe put something out to the yacht club and see if they agree with what we're saying, because there's always two sides to a story. So I'd like to hear both. So with that, I don't think at this stage we can go any further. I think I got the general opinion of council. Everybody said what they wanted to say. Everybody seems to be exhausted right now. So let's leave it at that and look at it again tomorrow. Have you got a resolution for that? No, there's nothing. Okay, so, yeah. So from there, we're gonna go to 5. And we're going to go into a closed session. And thank you very much for coming. But I couldn't put you on as a delegation because you wasn't booked. But anyway, thanks for coming and listening. You've got the gist of what was said, and let's go from there. Pardon? So at this time, I'm not going to ask any questions. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
We're going to go into a closed meeting at
42.
45.
I'll read the recommendation. The recommendation is that council hereby move into a meeting closed to the public at 10:42 a.m. pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001, Section 239, 2B, personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees, and Section 239, 2C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board.
We go to 7.
I'll read the report from closed. Yeah, that council discussed items pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001, Section 239, 2B, being personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees, and 239, 2C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. Council provided staff with direction to proceed if necessary. That bylaw 2024-03, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the special meeting of council held on January 24th, 2024, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Move it, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? Takes us on to adjournment.
That West Elgin Council hereby adjourns this special council meeting at 11:54 a.m. to meet again on Thursday, January 25th, 2024 at 4:00 p.m. or at the call of the chair.
Okay, can I have